Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. One of the most eagerly awaited new musicals is Mrs. Doubtfire, and it's returning to Broadway. They had just 3 previews and then everything shut down. Well, now they will open on December 5th, and I am here at the Stephen Sondheim Theatre to catch up with the show's star, McClure, and I caught up with him on his dinner break after rehearsal before a night's performance. I am so excited to be here with you outside of your theater. You're about to open, finally open on Broadway, Mrs. Doubtfire. How excited are you?
It's been a long climb back here, and just last night we had our 4th preview, and afterward we the curtain came down and Jen Gambatis held us all on stage and said, wait, everybody, that was preview number 4, and everyone applauded, and I thought, why are we applauding for preview number? Oh, we stopped after preview number 3. We never got to preview number 4, so we finally got to preview number 4, and we got super emotional. And having everybody back, and the crowds are just as excited to be back as we are, and it's super exciting.
Okay, so for those who may not know, you had done 3 previews.
Yes.
But you were on this, when you're working on a show, you're on this train that keeps rolling down the track. I mean, you had this incredible out-of-town run where audiences fell in love with the show.
Yes.
You came to New York, you were teching, you had previews, and all of a sudden you had 3 previews, and then you were told, Broadway's shutting down.
Literally leave everything where it is and go home. And all of these theaters became these little time capsules of 4:30 on Thursday, March 12th, with everybody's stuff right where it was. We lost a beloved cast member, Doreen Montalva-Mann, in the interim, not to COVID, but she passed while we were gone, tragically, and her dressing room station was here to be found the way it was on Thursday, March 12th, when we came back into the theater to start this process. It's a wild thing, seeing all these theaters that were frozen in time finally coming back to life. And, for those of us who believe these theaters are churches, it's a religious experience,
So were you able to put the last 18 months into perspective?
The show was poignant to begin with. But suddenly a show about how far would you go to be with those you love again means something it didn't mean 19 months ago. And I as a parent, I had a 1-year-old when we were starting this, and now I've got almost a 3-year-old, and how far would I go for her? That means more to me. And I think we've all been through such madness in the last 19 months that a show about, the lengths to which you would go for your family and what it means to be a family, redefining your family, to be those you choose to spend time with. And we were all doing that, right? Yeah. We were all at home going, who's my bubble? Who are my people? Who is my family? And this show celebrates that to the nth degree. And it's making people laugh in a way that is hugely emotionally resonant. The laughs are coming with tears because the message of family is profound now.
What was it like the first day you came back? The marquee is lit. I mean, you came through the stage door. Like, what went through your mind?
It's wild. You come in and my dressing room station, the first thing that happened is I walked into my dressing room and there were 10 pairs of little spring shorts that I had bought for my daughter the afternoon everything shut down that she will never wear because she's
outgrown them, right? Okay,
exactly, with the tag still on them. But also all of my notes that I had been taking from Jerry Zaks the afternoon that it shut down. It's a wild thing, and reviewing what the show was and what it was becoming at the moment that everything stopped.
Okay, so let's talk about that first rehearsal back. I mean, nobody was in a rehearsal room for 19 months, and there was that first day, the company's back together again. You're with Jerry Zaks. I mean, how emotional was that?
It was wild. And what was interesting is that Jerry's old school, you know what I mean? He's been around forever, and he is the king of what he does. And he admitted to us that his instinct was like, let's get back to work. But he very quickly realized and respectfully acknowledged that we're all different people than we were 19 months ago. And things need to be discussed. And Doreen needs to be properly grieved along with the other 700,000 people who died in the last 19 months. We can't just jump back in to business as usual. We all need time. And all of us were acknowledging, we haven't been doing 8 shows a week for 19 months. There's stamina that needs to be, we're all having imposter syndrome going like, can I still do this? I hope I can still do it. So they were very, we were treated not only as great performers, but as human beings. And I cannot thank them enough for their patience and their thoughtfulness in how they got us back on the treadmill. Because it wasn't all right, let's get back where we were and pretend like nothing happened. No, everything happened. And our show should be a reflection of now. Our show should not serve the world as it was 19 months ago. It should serve the world now. And that takes growth on everyone's behalf. And I was thrilled to see them acknowledge that and work towards that.
Yeah. See, I love that, but that's Jerry Zaks. That's the brilliance of someone like that who's saying, we're not doing the same thing we did 19 months ago. We have to start fresh, and we have to look at it through new eyes again.
Yeah, and that's when you learn that he's not just a great director, but a great man and a great father and the way he talks about his family and the way he talks about the Hillard family in reference to his own family and our families. And it's that's when you know you're in good hands.
Okay, what is it like working with Jerry Zaks? This has to be one of the biggest pinch me moments of your career.
For sure. I'll tell you a very funny story. About 5 days into our first rehearsal process, this was for the reading.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, long before the Seattle Out of Town. And I'm in rehearsal with Jerry Zaks, and we're bouncing off each other, and I'm feeling good about my comedy. And I go home and I tell my wife, and I'm like, I'm kind of feeling myself. Like, me and Jerry Zaks have the same sense of humor. And she goes, do you think it has anything to do with the fact that every Broadway show you were obsessed with as a kid were Jerry's? You saw that revival of Funny Thing Happen on the Way to the Forum with Nathan Lane and Whoopi Goldberg and David Allen Greer. How many times? You saw Guys and Dolls. How many times? You saw that Lend Me a Tenor. How many times? I think you might have the same sense of humor because he built yours.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. You know, we don't have the same sense of humor. I have his sense of humor because he taught me what musical comedy is. So I'm just getting to bounce off of him. It really does feel like he's been my mentor for decades and just didn't know it.
And now to work with him.
Yeah. It's to collaborate on comedy with him. It's just a delight, and he is the master. He really is the master because he's a comedy mathematician. You know what I mean? It's pristine comedy, and anyone who's seen anything rooted in farce of his, no one does that better.
So I want to tell our audience, we normally don't do these at night, but you've been rehearsing all during the day.
Sure have.
This is this man's dinner break.
Yeah.
He's got to put on the Mrs. Doubtfire out, but he's doing a show tonight.
True story.
And you decided to do this for us tonight.
For you. Love you.
All right, well, I want to ask you, so working with this company again, what is it like sharing the stage with them?
They are family.
Yeah.
They are family. We have been through so much together. And the kids, the 3 kids who play my kids in the show, they were terrified in the last 19 months because you don't know that you're going to get the call that says, like, we love you so much, but you grew a foot and your voice changed. Sorry. And they chose to keep the Hillard family intact. And I think that, again, speaks to the class and the human beings that we're working with in this show. And it reflects when we're on stage, that family dynamic between the Hillard family. You can feel it. It's palpable. And that expands to the rest of the cast. We have been through a lot together. And everyone choosing to come back and to tell this story again through new, fresh eyes. And for people who are, theater is an inconvenient art form. It's the opposite of all the art that was being consumed during the pandemic. We were sending everything to your laptop, right? But now we're asking you to meet us. We're asking you to get a babysitter. We're asking you to be vaccinated. We're asking you to wear a mask. We're asking you to spend money on tickets. We're asking you to spend money on parking. We're asking you to maybe spend money on dinner and to show up. So the amount that an audience has invested in getting back to a theater met with our investment in returning to those forces colliding feel so powerful because it's all about getting back to live storytelling because they know that those stories that were coming through their laptops don't make the hair on the back of their neck stand up, and this does.
And Broadway is the safest place to be right now.
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
with all the COVID procedures and everything, is the safest place to be.
They're not messing around.
Yeah.
They are not messing around. The testing is insane for all of us. We are tested
I am too.
constantly.
PCRs.
And that's it. PCRs and what they're doing for our audiences, making sure that the audiences are vaccinated and the audiences are wearing masks and that they keep their masks on during the show, and that we are tested frequently enough that if any of us remotely came close to testing positive, we'd be pulled out of the building before we were even contagious. We are in the hands of brilliant scientists who come in and speak to us so that we're educated on it. And Broadway is taking this seriously, and we know the investment audiences are making to get back to see us. So we're not only taking care of ourselves, but are taking care of them as well.
Yeah. This creative team is the same creative team that created Something Rotten.
Yeah.
I mean, working with them again.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
Yeah, the Kirkpatrick brothers and John O'Farrell are brilliant comedians, and they're also family men. They're all dads, and that was important to telling this story of this guy Daniel Hillard about a father who would do anything for his kids, and I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with Wayne and Carrie Kirkpatrick and John O'Farrell where the three of us well up in talking about a scene about, you know, a scene in Act 2 with me and my oldest daughter, and the conversations we have in the show, and we'll go, oh yeah, because when she says that, and one of us will go, and then the other one will go, and then you realize it's a story about what it means to be a parent.
Yeah. Well, I got to get you to dinner, but do you remember the first time you saw yourself all done up as Mrs. Doubtfire in the mirror?
Yes.
And what went through your mind?
How grateful I was to the astonishing team of artists who make it happen, because it is not a one-person achievement. I have a huge team of people who are responsible for Mrs. Doubtfire appearing live on Broadway every night, and I change in and out of that 30 times a show. The longest I have to do the transformation is 90 seconds. The least I have is 18 seconds. And it's literally like a NASCAR pit crew. Like I drive in and 4 people, change the tires, and away we go. And it's wild. And without them, there is no way it could happen. And it's easy for an audience to go, whoa, look what he did. But they don't see. They don't see Sarah Darnielle, my dresser, Victoria Tinsman, Matthew Vargo, Tommy Kurzman, the people who invested their time and artistry into that transformation. And it's astonishing. And the stakes of it are so much higher than in the film, and that's not a disservice to the film, but in the film, if Robin Williams runs into the other room and 18 seconds later Mrs. Doubtfire comes out, you know they yelled cut and he went into a trailer for 5 hours. If I've got 18 seconds, I have 18 seconds, and the audience knows I have 18 seconds, so they're sweating with me. The stakes are real and happening live and in real time, which makes the comedy that much richer, which makes the heart that much stronger, and it makes a really great piece of theater.
My final question is, what are you enjoying the most? Because you're back doing what you do best. I mean, look, the lights are back on Broadway again, audiences are coming back. I mean, what does it mean to you?
There is a 20-minute answer to this question, but I think one of the richest things, Brad Oscar, who's in the show, who is a comic hero of mine and somebody who I've admired from afar for a long time, and we finally get to play brothers, which is a great honor of my life. He calls it the backstage kibitz, which is your cup of coffee, and you make your rounds to the dressing room before you start getting ready. How was your day? Are you good? Oh, that one moment, how are you feeling about that thing? Maybe I'll enter a bit sooner for you to be able to pick up that thing. Oh, it's good. Jerry gave me the note. I'll take the I love you. Everybody's good. How's Diego? Oh, he's good. How's the dog? Good. That. Because that's what was taken away from us, the collective humanity, you know? And this is a magnification of that extends through the proscenium and out to the audience.
Well, thank you for doing this. Audiences have fallen in love with this show all over again. You open on December 5th.
Yes, sir.
We will be there.
I can't wait.
Thank you for doing this. You got to go eat.
Yes, sir.
Get over here, you.
Thank you.